He'd be like, what happened? I don't know. I hit the wrong button.
Here we go. Trying to see if it'll come up. Hello. This is Stephen Williams, and they call me the Good Bishop, and I appreciate the opportunity to come into your space. Welcome to Behind the Veil. You can see my beautiful guest is hanging out with me today. We're going to have a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. About being, about being beautiful and broken. Y'all
Oh,
know how we do this. Thank you so much for allowing me to come into your space. Again, Stephen Williams here. They call me the Good Bishop. And I'm saying welcome to Behind the Veil podcast as we discuss, have some good discussions tonight. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes. Y'all know how we do. We're gonna play the song of the week. We played this one before, but I think this one is really befitting for where we are and what we getting ready to have a conversation about. This is a song that's off my new project that's coming. Y'all know how to do music, so I don't get in no trouble. So it's either me or my boy. So I don't get into no real trouble. But this one is going to be, I think, on phase two. It's called Grace for That. And God knows we've been graced for that. Uh, wait a minute, Lady Sheri, we'll talk titles in a minute, but
no, you're
this,
good.
this one is it's got a little beat to it. So
Good.
maybe third would like this, maybe yeah. Hey, I was graced for that. Oh, 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 oh. Let's talk about growing up without it. No silver spoon out all around me. There was some who thought I'd never be about it, but I tackled everything I could in school. I made mistakes, but somehow made it through. There were days I was really so confused. I lost loved ones and friends along the way. Had sunny and even darkened days. But now looking back, I can really say that I was graced for that. Oh, hey, I was grace was on my life. Hey, I was grace for that. I survived all of those tests, so God can make me the best. Let's talk about this thing called love. I got some right and some messed up. I've had to drink from a bitter and a sweet cup, but sometimes I felt like I lost my way. I couldn't even see the sunshine in the day. Didn't even have the right words to say. Some things got away from me. I couldn't see I had the victory. I worried about what I couldn't see. But you know, oh, I was graced for that. The grace of God has always been on my life. Hey, when I look back at my history, He was there all the time to bless me. Sometimes we only see God's grace on display in tragedy, tragedy. But if we made it through, the grace of God, it resides on me and you. Now every time the stuff He brought me through, I'm ready for my brand new. Talking about my house, cars, you see me taking first class? My own jet with my port pass. Living free without a mask. I am thanks for that. Saved, sanctified, and set free. Being happy in my destiny. I can see me walking in total victory. Well,
I love it.
yeah.
I love
Yeah, that's I'm grace for that. And so that whole thing,
Wow.
you ain't gonna believe it. All that is me. All that is me. All that is me. Me, me, me,
Mhm.
me, me. And it comes from a place of grace for that being a bad place. And you know how we say, "Oh, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't have made it." Da 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 da. But that same grace that is still that helped me make it through also wants me to win.
Absolutely.
I still got the same grace, y'all.
It's still prevalent.
Yeah. Listen, I am so honored tonight on my platform. She just took my platform up about 20,000 viewers because she here. Uh, I have with me, most of you are going to know her. She gave me a good old bio, Elder Sheri Bratcher. She's a dynamic speaker with an anointing that can destroy yokes through the teaching and preaching of the word of God, as well as a powerful demonstrator of ushering in the presence of the Lord through exhortation and praise. She believes in being an integral part of the local church, wherein the focus is exalting Jesus Christ and building the total family, man, woman, boy, and girl. She seeks to support women in their relationship with God so that through spiritual friendships, mentoring, modeling, and teaching one another, we might experience the freedom to become all that God intends us to be. Powerful stuff. Um, Elder Sheri, we call her Lady Sheri from where I come from, believe it should be our ministry goal to equip women to handle life's difficulties while enriching their hearts, encouraging their souls, and expanding their personal God giving ministries. Her education, coupled with her strong formative upbringing, helped to prepare her for ministry leadership. She is a consistent and consummate servant leader to ministry and the episcopacy. And these attributes are a benefit to the ministry of this anointed vessel. She is all that. She is the mother of Freddie Alexander. We call him third, Justin Spencer, and then Carlton Brandon Elliott. Her daughter in love, Alicia Monet, two grandchildren. Um, uh, uh, Ethan and Harley. Uh,
Hallelujah.
and she is on as Mama to Taylor, Leah, Tori, Lene, Thomas, and many others. Look, most of us know her, Lady Sheri, and I am so honored. We all clapping. Everybody just send your little claps, clap, 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 clap. I am so honored to have you be a part of the Behind the Veil podcast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here as well. I think that today is an important time in everybody's life, due to the pandemic and everything else that we're going through, that we need to be uplifted, by each other and through each other's words. And this is a great forum for that. So thank you.
Oh, it's gonna be a forum today, boy. We gonna have a ball. Listen, we have been sharing and we have been talking, and I'm going to get to it. One of the persons who is close to me told me they didn't want me to do a whole bunch of talking tonight. They wanted to hear from her, and I was talking junk to them. So that's how much they are wanted to hear your voice as we discuss being beautiful and being broken. Now, I want to preface this conversation to all of our listeners. There are some stuff that I know you may be looking for. Some of this stuff that we may tap into. it's going to be a part of her book. And so some stuff we're not going to pick up on, some stuff we're not going to share, but we're going to share enough about this whole notion. And we're going to take it some places that she and I have had to be a little bit vulnerable before. But I think the two of us, we're in great places, and we
Amen.
know how to handle what we need to handle in Jesus' holy
Amen.
name. All right. And so I'm pumped. Here we go. Here we go. Y'all, can y'all believe I got Lady Sheri on my
I
podcast?
love you. We go way back.
When I tell you we go so far back, it's a shame. And sitting down and at the front of the church, and having to sit up at the front and deal with all the stuff we dealt with, and then
Oh,
you be
Lord.
whispering to me, uh, you be whispering to me stuff you didn't want nobody else to hear. So I am again. I
Really
am
excited to be here. Crazy.
all right, y'all ready? Here we go. All
Okay.
right. So tonight we're going to talk about this whole notion of being beautiful and broken. And I spoke to her some time ago, asking her would she do this, and it just seemed like this would be the right night and the right time for us to kind of chat. And I want to preface this before I get to her. Um, I want to preface this that in my earlier days of meeting her and growing, we were in our 20s. I wasn't but a couple of years older than her, but we were in our 20s, and a part of the problem was I entered into her space. Everything okay? I entered into her space broken. I was broken myself. And so some of you will know that I had a first marriage with Collier, and Jordan, Sonny Miles' mom, beautiful lady. Um, but one of the things that happened was by me being broken, my father being absent, trying to um, fulfill whatever broken areas that she had, I ended up myself breaking her, but I was broken myself. And so my mother had done as much as she could um, in the process of trying to make men. But the reality is, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, she was limited in what she was able to do.
Mhm.
And so she and I talked about this. This is all getting this out. So I want you all to know it's not just you who are listening to us. There are a lot of people who, we speak in tongues and we are out front, but our journey starts with being broken and coming into a broken process. But I think the broken part is the process. I think you have to be broken in order to be developed. And so we're getting into it. So tell me this, and we're going to start this off. Just, I'm going to ask you to define your definition of beauty. Let's start
Well, firstly, I will say that, you know, now
there.
I am 51. I'm not afraid to tell my age. Thank God. I think that the word says that he made everything beautiful in his own time.
Right.
And everything, and I'll go back to the word of God. You know, everything that God made is perfect.
Yeah.
Everything that he made is beautiful. Beauty to me resides on the inside and it exudes from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just what you see on the outside.
Yeah.
It can't be. Because, there's, everybody says, well, people say that beauty is in our beholder. Correct. So if I look at something and I don't think it's beautiful, somebody else may say, oh my God, she's perfect, or he's wonderful. But I don't think that because that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because beauty to me, it is what it is to me. But I think that beauty comes from the inside. It's in your demeanor, it's in your character, it's in how you think, it's in your mindset,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's in how you carry yourself.
Yeah. You,
So
you
beauty for me is not just outward appearance.
Yeah, you said something when we talked earlier about your mother when she described that notion of beauty. Because I think when I first came to you, I was like, "Oh, you're just beautiful, beautiful and broken." And one of the things you said that she used to tell you all was,
That it's not you I don't trust, it's the boys that I don't trust.
and this
So
goes,
she grew us up, us girls. There were five of us, three girls and two boys. And she would I remember her saying this, it's I trust y'all, but it's them boys I don't trust, you
so she
know?
was trying to build your beauty. Uh, is that whole notion of where you started all of this down
Oh yeah.
in
Oh
Hope
yeah.
County
And
or
in
Greenwood,
Rayford, North Carolina.
which everything is outside the county line.
That's right. Absolutely. And I will tell you, my mother, I came from a single mom home. She had five of us, like I said, three girls and two boys. And like you said, she was still limited in what she did.
Yeah,
So she could only do what she was strong enough to do. And she did that and she did it well. Thank
yeah,
God for my mama,
yeah.
you know. And so coming from home, coming to college, meeting the people I met at Winston-Salem State University back in 1987, I wasn't broken at home per se.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that I should have been.
Ooh.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Because you
I
you
didn't know
were
that
you
should
were
have
in
been.
a yeah, you were in a place of strength. So
Exactly.
there was no need to be exposed to a place of brokenness. Yeah.
Even though she was a single mother, even though we didn't have everything that we wanted for Christmas, even though our dad was 2 minutes across town, the fact of the matter is she instilled in us self-esteem and that confidence and that self-worth
Yeah.
in all of her children. So we came from a strong background of knowing who we are
Yeah.
and not having to be defined by anybody else. So I wasn't broken in Rayford.
Got you. It was only now, so because we talked about this in the context, because I think one of the things you said, and I don't know if we can talk about it now, but you said I ended up being in my broken state when I got here, or when you came into this
Mhm,
area. And
mhm.
so I'm saying this to the audience. She and I have already kind of laid a certain kind of foundation. Um, uh, uh, my mother taught me from the perspective of the strength
Mhm.
of my mother.
That only she had, right?
That was what she had.
Mhm,
So that's all we knew,
mhm.
but it was completely inadequate for what I was about to face. And that's
Right.
because of the father thing. So let me ask a tough question. It ain't on our list, but was the father involved at all in the making, or was that just from the perspective of mother? And this is where we're going to go. This is how we get to being broken at 20.
I mean, no, not really.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She, no. Just no. My dad's a great dad. Years later, I knew, that my dad loved us.
Right.
They didn't become separated and divorced until we were like in elementary, middle school, whatever. So he took all five of us. They built a home for us. So I knew that my dad loved us. This one thing he said to me years later. This was when I had my kids, the first two boys. He said, and my mom said it first to me. She said, at the time, your dad didn't know how to be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that freed me from anything, any bondage that I held him, that held him, with me. But there was when we were talking one day and we heard there was some kind of story on about an abused kid, and this, that, and the other. And he said, I would kill somebody for messing with my girls.
Yeah.
So yeah, he wasn't around, but he did love us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the love has never really been the question. Well, well, maybe in some, I guess it
Mhm,
was.
mhm.
Um, but this whole element. So let's. All right. Here go the first tough question we getting ready to ask.
Oh, Lord.
You go.
Sorry.
All right. You are uh, a little, you're a cheerleader for them sorry Hope people. We played y'all. And I think we beat you all so bad with the Raiders and stuff. And then, I get to Winston-Salem State before you, you know, staking my claim. Then you show up. All right. And then by the time you're 20, we had talked about that was the season where knowing you were strong, but somehow that was the beginning of your brokenness.
Mhm.
And so the question I think is, how did you come to that conclusion? I think when you said that, it just startled me that you would say that was when I was broken. And how did you come to that conclusion that that moment was it?
Tracing things back, like I said, when I got to WSSU, I didn't know I was broken,
Right,
or I wasn't in my head. But then coming here, being alone, being the only person in my family who was here,
right,
um, I didn't really have a foundation. I didn't really have somebody to fall back on, nobody to talk to, nobody to, lean on their shoulder and say, oh gosh, this is what I'm feeling. I had friends in college, of course, but no family.
right.
So tracing things back was when I can say that I learned certain things about myself. And so then, in learning those things, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not whole. I'm not complete. This is
Mm,
crazy to me
hmm.
because I don't know how to deal with this
Yeah,
because I was naive.
yeah, yeah.
You said it. I came from the country,
I did
of
too.
course. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm a girl raised in the South. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. The country boy.
And so, yeah, a lot of things I was green towards.
Yeah.
And so coming here, learning things about people and seeing people do this and, you guys have gangs? What is that?
Yeah, we didn't
You
have
know?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that. So there are a lot of things that I was naive about, and tracing things back and learning about myself even more today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I became broken. That was the start. That was the cycle of it.
Did you release and I guess here's a question, you
Mhm.
know, since you were because she and I got into this not debate, but we were just having a good conversation because I'm saying, how can you be so strong and then be broken at the same time? Like it just didn't make sense. And I want to tell my audience, y'all got to remember, I speak from this from a male's perspective.
Mhm.
And so please forgive me. I can't be a female in any stretch of the imagination. And so we are trying to talk this out from the different lenses that we see it. And so for me, I was like, nah, ain't no way you was strong and then somebody broke you. And so one of my questions was, why did you relinquish that part of you? Or did you know you had even relinquished it? You,
I
you,
would say that becoming vulnerable, and there again being naive, and becoming just surrendering to certain aspects of your life, you don't know that you are, and you
gotcha.
don't know that you will become
Hmm.
broken because you're so strong. And so that's how you deal with things,
Mm.
you know.
Unpack that again, because you're saying because of that level of strength, because now I can see this, because you're
Mhm.
so strong. When junk happens, when crap happens, what you do is you placate to the strength, not realizing that the situation you're in is actually breaking. Is
Mhm. Mhm.
is that where you kind of talking?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because we don't want to focus on negative energies,
Yeah, yeah,
so we override those things in our heads with positivity as much as possible, because we don't want people to see us as negative, and we don't want people to see us weak.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
My pastor said something 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. He said, I'm being broken, but I'm still in his hands.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly,
you
Certainly.
know, so that even to this day, I didn't know that 20 years ago.
Right.
When I was 30, I'm like, what? But understanding that and seeing things and remembering things, yes, I was being broken, but he still held on to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Monet said something. She says, "How can you be broken and strong simultaneously?" And she said, "It's called being a woman." And
My girl,
it's the power of being a woman. Is
the power of being a woman.
yeah,
It is because we deal with these things in life. We're mothers, we're sisters, we're wives, we're friends. We work outside of the home. Some of us,
yeah,
some of us are, we work in corporate America doing these things, and we all have to. It's just one of us,
yeah,
but we have all of these different hats on at the same time, and so we have to know when to pull off and when to put on.
yeah.
And so at certain times, we aren't strong enough to pull off that one and put on this one. So they're all, we become discombobulated. So we think,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Do you I was gonna ask, do you because one of the questions, here it is again, you all, again, view this from the lens of I feel inadequate having this conversation. I really do. Um, because one of the things that has just plagued me in my mind is how people, women specifically, can be beautiful and yet continue to go through cycle after cycle of allowing the same thing from a different kind of vibe continue to break them. And it's like I can see them being broken down, and they're forgetting how beautiful they are. uh, and they're forgetting their worth, if you will, and they allow people to kind of trample them and speak down to them. And so one of the questions, can you speak to that particular young lady? Because was that you? Did you see yourself? Do you see yourself beautiful? And did you see yourself broken, or did you find that out later?
I found it out way later, um, because, there were layers there are layers to being broken,
Oh, let's
so to
talk.
speak.
Let's talk.
you know so like I said, I came from home from my mother, who instilled in us the confidence, that self-worth, that self-esteem. She said, you're smart first, then you're pretty.
Yeah, yeah,
Most people say, oh, you're so pretty. They forget that you have brains too, so your brains and beauty. So that brokenness came, when things start to plague my mind, because, I wasn't home with my mother to have her in my ear to
right.
reinforce those things again. So I was an adult on my own, having to remember, okay, my mom did say this about me. I remember that's who I am.
Yeah,
So all of that stuff that comes at you to break you, it doesn't come at once, because we know how the enemy works.
yeah, 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 yeah. Good, good. I mean,
Yes.
that's good. Let's talk about that, because I think you are unpacking. You'll hear me talk about this and unpacking um, the layers to brokenness. That whole level. And honestly, I think Lady Billy said something. It's not the outside beauty. You have to have some level of self worth.
Mhm.
Uh, but guys have a tendency, and I don't know if it's because we want to, that women want to please the guy, or the guy wants to please the girl, that sometimes we allow the guy to kill us in our value,
Mhm.
and um they don't do it all at once.
Mhm.
It's a little bit at a time.
That's right. That's right. Because they understand that, well, I can't, I just can't tell her that, she's unworthy of me.
Ah,
Now, we've just been together a week.
yeah.
You
Oh,
understand?
come
I
on.
can't tell her she's not good enough for me. We've only been together 2 years.
Wow.
So those are things, I can't tell her she's not, she no, you're not the one. Even though she's still on my arm,
Got you.
So coming from that perspective, yes, there's a process to the breakingness,
Mm,
because people want to mold us into what they want us to become or who they want us to be,
mm.
just for them.
Oh,
But
let's talk
when we
about that.
get when we get a voice,
Yeah.
then we become detrimental.
Unruly.
Then we become unruly. Then we become mean.
So God, I wish I could take all the ladies on here, and I wish I could have a forum. Do you
We can.
do you all feel like that we kind of put you all into a concept that we try to make you into what we want you to be, uh, uh, and instead of allowing you to develop. But now here's the trick: if you don't know who you are and you come into this relationship, or you come into whatever that is, because that was a part of my issue. I wasn't sure who I was, so I trusted myself, my gifts, into um, the hands of someone else because I wasn't sure. And I'm thinking, I'm trusting people who's going to help shape me to be the best me that I can be,
Mhm,
because
mhm,
that's the area that I'm not comfortable in. I'm not sure in. So I'm looking for it.
mhm,
They're defining it.
mhm,
And but I what I have come to the conclusion is they can't define it if you really don't know. If you don't know me,
mhm,
you
mhm,
only defining me through your lens.
mhm, mhm. Because we entrust those sides of us to people,
Yeah.
um, to help to become developed. But
Yes.
like you said, you know, in our brokenness, we entrust these people because with our broken sides of us, with the broken sides of us, because we expect for them to be honest and to be truthful so that we become better,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not so that we, not to the detriment of becoming in our heads not good enough.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
yeah. it, while you're going through this whole notion of brokenness, because everybody's, I mean, we are who we are. And so while you're dealing with this brokenness, are you grasping for your mom's validation of who you were, or are you just going through the process hoping that things will change? Or can you see that you're being broken at that time? Does that make sense?
Hmm. No. When I left home and I hadn't been back,
Right.
to live with mom, to live with my dad, any of that. So, and me grappling to find, you know, that ledge to hold on to, I can totally tell you, I don't know how God did it, but he did,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So yeah, there were times when I wanted to be home with my mother. And so yeah, she would call at the right time,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, to give me that nudge. However, hearing things and growing up and holiness the way that we did, there were certain things that we were taught, that we couldn't do, should not do.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was a lot, you know, in my past,
Got you.
grappling with those teachings of the church, of the holiness church, Pentecostal holiness, whatever you want to call it, back in the day, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, that I shouldn't do,
Yeah.
who I shouldn't be.
Yeah, Robert Harrison says something that's really powerful. He says, while broken, we tend to honor those who aren't equipped to handle where we are. And
Mhm,
so we give honor and we give respect and deference to people,
mhm,
not knowing that they don't know how to properly handle who we are.
mhm,
And so we're like you, I'm a country boy. So I'm only holding on to what mom was ever taught me, but I never heard what dad said. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
So I'm looking for that other side of the validation. And
mhm,
I'm allowing the process
Mhm.
to shape me into who I am or whatever this
Mhm.
is.
Mhm. And
Um,
when we entrust those people to our lives, we entrust and hopes
yeah,
that they do what is right towards us,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, because we hope and we know that you're who you are, so do the right thing.
yeah.
Doesn't always happen,
But
but it.
but here it is again. So I go back. So my wife is the benefactor of my lessons from
Mhm.
my failed marriage, right?
Mhm.
So you're giving yourself to and call you maybe on here, but you're giving yourself to a relationship to someone who is broken, and so we're entrusting the broken part of us into someone who's broken themselves.
Themselves. Mhm.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And it causes it causes a cycle. It causes a cycle because unlike us, I mean, a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of people go through relationship after relationship, and they keep saying, well, this one is going to be the one. But here it is again. You're giving yourself into someone
Mhm.
who is broken.
Mhm.
Um, hey, y'all send us any questions that y'all want to send.
Right. They can.
Again, I feel
I
so
will say that, we looked for those nurturing parts of people to nurture us. And how what do we say? Hurt people.
hurt people. Yeah,
So broken people break people.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Same concept.
Same
You know,
concept, right?
because you can't really help me in that particular place where I need help if you haven't, really been fully delivered there and come through there yourself.
Yeah. Here's an interesting question
Mhm.
because a lot of people throw the stones at the person who helped break them. How much fault is it of yours? Or is there any fault when you look back? Now, let's go, we're 40 years into this, 30, 40 years into this. And I see a lot of people blaming a lot of other people,
Mhm.
but is it a shared responsibility? Is it to maybe? Let's unpack that again, just through my lens. Let's talk about it.
I think so a lot, um, because we only know what we know.
Right.
Okay. And so if I meet somebody who, Monet, she is so creative in her head. I just love it. She and Carmen, they're very creative. I'm not creative. I don't have a creative bone in my body. Okay. I just like see things that I like. And I'm like, oh, I like that. How do you do that? Just that and the other. I don't know how to do that.
Hmm.
So
Right.
if I entrust them to make a wreath for me, then I entrust that part of them. I'm trusting them to do right by me.
Got you. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Does
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that
Yes.
make sense?
Yes.
So, and then when I find out they didn't do right by me, it is my responsibility to say, okay, the word says to mark the man.
Yeah.
So, how you say, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. A lot of times we don't want to believe it
I was about to say, what takes us so long?
because because we are so trusting and we want things to be okay and we don't want to ruffle feathers and we don't want anybody, to be upset with us when we say to them, okay, I tried it, it's okay, we'll just go our separate ways, we're good, I promise.
Yeah.
you know
Lady Billy said something that's very powerful. She said, we long for what we lack, but a partner is not a substitute for a parent.
Never.
And I think sometimes we're looking for the missing piece in the parenting piece, somewhere missing, because a father or a mother can be in the house and still not be prevalent.
It should not be present, exactly.
Yeah. And so you're
And that's what I said, just because you come from a two-parent home, y'all still
right, right, right.
y'all more dysfunctional than my mom and us. I got real country right there, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you do another question is out here? When we saw red flags in our development, and I preface all of this because we're not here to bash the process. We wouldn't be who we are if we hadn't gone through what we had gone through. I would
Exactly.
not be what I am.
Exactly.
Let's clear that.
Exactly.
But there's a question on the floor. Did we purposely just ignore the red flags, or did we want them to be something else? You know, because I'm trying to get to the root. Uh, they said don't make this about men, but so about women. You're beautiful.
We
You
do.
are really beautiful. Women, you're beautiful to our audience. Some of you are gorgeous, and it is amazing. Do we just ignore the red flags and allow people to roll over us? And that's what we're trying to get to. And you've had an experience to be able to share with them how to survive this. So did we just
We
did you
do.
throw the flags out and just say taught
We
some?
do. And it's still been done today. We do. As
Yeah,
women, we do. Because we are missing that piece that we long for. That
yeah,
some of us, our dads were not able to tell us at the time, he don't mean you no good.
yeah,
Or your mother saw, that young lady, she ain't the one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, So yes, we don't see them and they're there waving,
Yeah,
but we choose not to. It's always a choice.
yeah.
And I can't make my choices be okay for you.
Hmm,
Those were my choices.
got you, got you.
Yeah. So God graced me for what he graced me for,
Yeah,
just as he graces you, just as he graces others.
right, right.
Doesn't negate the fact that the flags were there. And I didn't, I just
Just didn't pay. I mean, just threw it out the window.
just threw them out the window. Because there again, I was very young. I know things that I know now,
Right,
and like you said before, you become better. So my next will become better because I learned from the past.
certainly.
I learned those things. What is the adage? People will people will treat you the way that they treat you because you allowed it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
So I didn't know that in the past. I just thought, and I'll become transparent at this moment. Marriage is what it is.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I was taught, that's your husband. You believe everything he says. Period.
Wow. Let's go there.
That's
Is that was that a part of the upbringing?
yeah,
Is that where you got that focus from, that whole
yeah,
concept?
yeah.
Wow.
You
Okay.
know, and my grandmother, my mom's mom, my maternal grandmother, she dealt with abuse all of her life. But I believe she loved Spencer.
Yeah.
you know, and I think in some weird way he loved Maggie. you know, but there again, she didn't leave him. She chose to work and become, you know, and being able to buy her new Cadillac every year.
Uh,
You understand? So yeah, we believe those things. We don't see the red flags, even though they're there, because of sometimes what we've been taught.
mm,
Because that's all we know at the time.
mhm.
And I'll tell anybody today, yeah, husbands and wives are to be, there's no way around it. Believe what I tell you. Believe what you hear from me. I
Yeah,
should be able to do that.
yeah,
Husbands and wives should be able to do it for each other, you
yeah,
know, period.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it doesn't happen.
yeah. That's interesting. I don't know if yeah. That's an interesting. I don't know if I've ever been heard that you just believe what your husband said. I guess I can see it in my mom. I guess she believed
Mhm,
it. When I look at what I call
mhm,
abusiveness of
mhm.
how he handled her. Uh,
Yeah. You, where you going? You getting a divorce? What is that? No.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody, you came from the Holy Church. Won't believe in that.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I tell you what, it sure ain't this generation now.
No. God help us.
This generation now be like, I will check out on you so quick it'll blow your mind.
But then you ask, so where's your fortitude?
Hmm.
Where's the work in this?
Yeah.
Because we're going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
So how do we work together? How do we come together and form this bond, that nobody can break?
Yeah. This oneness, if you
This
will.
oneness. Yes.
I wrote something down that I really want my listeners to. I hope you will take this to heart.
Mhm.
A level of freedom and good relationship is only determined by the level of truth you are willing to tell.
Wow.
And so the level of freedom and relationship that you are going to have is
Mhm.
only measured by the level of truth that you tell. That is to yourself and to others. And I think we should become when you do this oneness, we bone to bone, flesh to flesh, there is a certain amount of vulnerability, and there is a certain amount of, I'm trying to be what I need to be for you, and I want to keep stuff back, and I'm just trying to make sure, and then I think it creates this whole notion of separatism, if you will. And so we wake up and we the whole adage, we've grown apart. Yeah, that's because we never did talk about it, and
Yeah.
we hold that proof. All right, let me move on. So you answered something very creative when I asked you this earlier. Should beauty outweigh brokenness? When should beauty outweigh brokenness? And I want to preface that this way. I want to preface that when you know your beauty, shouldn't that outweigh the consistency of being broken? Like, when did you break away from the brokenness? Did you find your beauty? Did you find your voice? Is that notion? And that's where I'm coming from in that particular question or that particular statement. I don't know if it's a question.
Yes, it is when I was able to bring myself back to myself.
How'd you do that? What happened? I mean, how did you, after all these years, just say, whoo, wait a minute, where's Sheri? Have I
Yeah,
lost her?
it was a process.
Gotcha. Okay.
you know, there are
In the book.
yeah, that too. There was a process to that, and like I said, when I found my voice, I had the strength again, um, that had dwindled, and everything in my head that I put on the back burner, I had to remind myself, no, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you can do. This is what you should do. This is what you're strong enough to do.
Yeah.
And so, in finding my voice, I became strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
So that helped me in the process of becoming stronger, to remember who I was, to who God said I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is only, it's not about who we think we are. It's about who God says we are. And we always have to bring ourselves back to that square one. What did he say about you?
Good deal. Let's talk about that. That's good.
What did he say about you?
Hmm.
You are strong enough to handle anything that comes your way. What did he say about you? I never made you to be less than. What did he say? He gave you self-worth. He gave you self-esteem. Why are you letting people take that away from you? So yeah, becoming broken is a process, but becoming beautiful is still the same process.
Mm.
You know, he made a way of escape. The way came with the trouble.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, the brokenness came with the beauty.
yeah, yes, yes, yes.
So he ain't gonna take that away from you.
Right.
You relinquish it. You know, it's still there. So you have to find it yourself when you come back to him.
Yeah,
Now, when you gonna find your way back?
yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Are you having a moment?
Mhm. When are you gonna find your way back?
Yeah.
And we get lost because we can't find our way back, so we think. But I'm here to tell you today, if you make up in your mind to find your way to him, he will lead and guide you to where you need to go and how you need to find him. We must find our way back to him.
Yeah. Because ultimately that's the original place, right? I mean, you know, that's the place of knowing who you are, your worth, and not being defined by society and not being defined by man or woman, you
Yeah.
know, not leaving that into the hands of somebody else to determine your value. Um, yeah, and I think it was, you know, yeah, it- it's because of the brokenness, right, that I'm
Mhm.
able to find my voice,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of people, you know, and especially in your life, they want to hear the brokenness, you know, they want to hear the story of the brokenness, but you have to understand, you said it earlier, there are layers to this thing when we start talking about finding our beauty,
Mhm.
because you don't find it, you're looking at it in somebody else, or you're looking at it in some other things, you're looking at it in a car or how you dress, when the reality is you need to be broken to peel that layer off that you trusted above his voice. Go ahead,
Mhm.
unpack that. Come on, let's.
I can't. I can't because you're so right. We forget the voice of God
Yeah, yeah,
because we want to become validated
yeah,
by somebody else who is not God,
yeah,
you know, and they're gonna only, how the people used to say, build your world as large as they'd like it,
yes.
you know.
Never allow them to build your world. They'll always build it too small.
And it's gonna be smaller than it is. What? You know? So, well, there again, finding, what he said about you and remembering who he said you are, not were, are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Say that again. Let's talk about
Remembering and finding who he says you are, what he says you are, not who you
not,
were,
not who you were,
not who you were.
but who you are, and not the layers of brokenness, because all of us have to go through things.
And
Don't
we
allow,
will.
yeah, and don't take on that. For me, don't take on the fact that you were ignorant, you were naive. It's a part of your making. You made mistakes, and I'm looking at so many people who are so beautiful but can't move on past the mistake that you made. It is not, now you said something, y'all need to put that, it is not who you were, it is who
You
you
are.
are. I'm gonna have to write that down, I'm gonna have to preach that.
I know. Can I get that love
Can you
offering?
get that little love off of that one little thing right there? All right,
Yeah.
I have to
You
give you
know how we share things.
5%, 5%.
Thank you. Because we still have the treasure. We are his treasure
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in this vessel, you know?
yeah.
So don't let that go to waste.
Ooh, wait a minute, you throwing out too many nuggets tonight. Come on, talk
So
about that. Let's talk about that. You are the treasure. Don't let it
You
go.
are the treasure. Everything you go through, everything you endure, everything you overcome, you're still the treasure.
Mm,
You are the treasure. Don't let that go to waste. Use it to your advantage. Become who he says you are. Start the business, become the entrepreneur, write that book, do it all because he said you could.
yeah,
You're the treasure. He put it in you. Don't let it go to waste.
yeah. Don't let the brokenness destroy.
Don't let it destroy you.
Yeah, yeah,
It only comes to make us better.
yeah,
It only comes to make us stronger. Because at the end of the day, this ain't about me. This ain't about you. It's about everybody else who wants to become better, who
yeah.
understands that in my brokenness, I'm still somebody.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm still what God said I was, who he said I was.
yeah. And if you leave it to broken people, they'll continue to break you to fit within the confinements of who you are, of who they want you to be. So y'all deal with that. Go ahead.
Because they don't want to become unveiled.
I got you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Nobody wants to be revealed.
No,
Nobody
can't
wants to.
show that side of me. Not the real me. I can't unveil all of this, because then what people thought about me, they're going to see the real me and be like, that's what,
Why do
and
you
you don't want that.
why do you think we, as people who live in truth, we preach truth. We speak truth, we dance truth. Why do you think we live in lies?
God almighty.
Church, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you the name of this podcast is Behind the Veil. This is the stuff, this is
Oh, okay.
talk about
Oh, okay.
behind the veil. Like when we go in the back room after church, these are the kind of conversations that we would be having when we go to dinner as the bishops and the pastors and the first ladies. We have these kinds of conversations about people and stuff like that. So we're going behind the veil. Why do we lie so much when we say we want to live the truth? Do we not know it? Do we not believe it? Is that the whole point? Or are we still trying to have this validation from a limited human or a broken human that we allow them to, we're broken in that particular area, so we trust them, we trust people to do that, but yet we continue to live the lie. And I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about our listeners. I want
Yes,
them,
period. Yeah.
let,
That's a word.
us shake ourselves, because I think Sheri and Sheri and Stephen, let's drop the titles. Hey, look, we've been through brokenness, and God is still doing some stuff in us.
Exactly.
But
Absolutely.
we're in a different kind of revelation of where we are, where
Mhm.
it's not judged now by what kind of car we drive, or what the tie that I have on, whatever the name is, or whatever the suit is. That I love what you're saying. I am his treasure. I
Mhm.
cannot let this go to waste. Why do we lie so much?
Because we were not taught that if we lied, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Yeah,
You know, did you get a whooping when you was little for telling stories?
I got a few. Just
Okay,
I was a
that's
good
where it came from. You know, it all stems from when we were kids. Your mom said don't lie, but you're gonna tell a story anyway. This is what's gonna happen when you do that. But then we become adults and we say, well, God's grace covers.
Mm,
So we know the truth. We just don't want to tell the truth.
mm,
We don't want to walk in the truth because for so long we've been living this lie and telling this lie. So if we reveal the truth, then our bubbles crash. They
yeah.
burst.
I always tell us that there is this notion, and I need it. And so I don't do as much revealing because I think we really do take advantage of grace. Simply
Unfortunately.
because we need grace. We know how valuable it is.
Mhm.
So we don't reveal the truth. We keep giving grace. But I don't know if it's ours to give. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This one, I ain't got no answers about that one. But I just know I don't really talk truth about other people because I didn't think of myself and say, oh man, I was a mess too. So God gonna work it out. Da 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 da.
Mhm.
But I think
Mhm.
I don't think I need to do that at the detriment of my own treasure anymore. I'm good if you go down, but I ain't going down at the expense of my treasure. Does it, if that makes sense?
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And we have come, and everybody's right now, we're in this time, everybody's on the same playing field.
Ooh, yes, we're on the same. If
We're on the same playing field. We just all trying to not catch the cover. It's like, what is that? Anywho, we're just we're we're trying to be healthy. We're trying to stay healthy. We're trying to keep working.
yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody's on the same playing field.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody preaching outside. I don't care how big your church is.
Okay, everybody online.
Everybody preaching online. I mean, I'm on national TV. Just so y'all know, I'm in national TV. I mean,
That's it. So we are all having to live this truth.
yeah, yeah.
I think we should be.
Well, it's definitely coming to the point where one of the things that I'm good at doing, and I think this is why God allows me to be here. I simply tell the truth, even if I'm guilty. I preach the
As well.
even if I'm guilty, because to turn the truth into a lie to my advantage, to say I'm not, now I got fake glory, is what I call
Mhm.
fake glory, and nobody's being
Wow.
blessed. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. Going forward, you have all these people, you done named all these people on your who love you. Lord Jesus, Harley, Ethan, Taylor Lee, Tori, Lene, a
Renata.
whole bunch. You Monet.
Yes.
What are you revealing to the generations, your children, the daughters? Because regardless of what you think, you got a whole bunch of daughters that's 45, 50, because we grew up with you being our first lady. Somebody said to me, you're gonna be my only first lady. And I laughed. That's the
Lord
last.
have mercy.
Everybody else just gonna be the pastor's wife. She talking about that one, that's gonna
Oh,
be the first lady. And so you are indeed, people really love you. And and it is a byproduct of the number of people who are chiming in to hear your voice. What are you passing down to your children or other people about this whole thing, about the process of being broken and how, because everybody's got to go through this broken period to some
absolutely.
degree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I tell them the truth.
got you.
It's not going to be easy. And
Right.
it ain't pretty.
Yeah,
It ain't pretty.
yeah,
And it's not easy. However, you can make it through. You can endure it.
yeah,
you know, because why would I lie to them about something and then they face it and like, Mama, you said blah, 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 blah. I know, I'm sorry. I lied.
right.
Why? Why let them hit a brick wall when I can, try to make them avoid that by telling them the truth?
Yeah,
I tell them the truth.
yeah.
It's,
In
it ain't
love,
gonna hurt them.
right?
Do what?
You tell them the truth in love.
I sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Yes, all the time in love. Yeah, absolutely. but they won't learn unless you tell them the truth.
That's true. That is true.
Why would we lie to our children?
Yeah.
Why would we not say to them, this is going to happen,
Yeah.
and make them aware of what's going to happen so they can become prepared?
Yeah. I think I struggled with that. And I just got real with Jordan. I told him, look, this is just who I am. This is who I was. I see it. Uh, I would not allow him to be defined by my decision. My decision was to love God. God chose me. I answered that call, and I told him, "You are under no circumstance. I will not allow anybody to make you become me." And I think you're not going to. I'm not going to let you do that. You're going to have to find out who He is
Mhm.
for
For
yourself.
yourself.
And this is my truth to you. I wouldn't be able to tell you this if I hadn't been broken. I wouldn't be able to say it if I didn't go through, because honestly, Lady Sheri, honestly, man, my mama and them lied to me. The old pastors, them jokers lied. They did not give us a clear viewpoint of what this being made of God, what this treasure was being. Nobody told me how hard it was that I had to find the treasure within myself.
Right. Right.
They just lied. And I had to find that truth, and I'm transferring that truth to my son and now to my daughter. Because I
Yes.
want you to understand, I'm here. We're here for you, but you're gonna have some of this stuff. You're gonna have to go through. You can't be great without a breaking.
Can't be. You won't be.
You won't be. There is no greatness without brokenness.
You won't be. And in order for them to understand really what it is the only way for us to convey that message to them,
Yeah,
to tell them the truth about it.
yeah,
It really hurt, you know.
yeah,
It really had me going there for a minute in my head,
yeah.
you know. I really thought that this is what my life was supposed to be. I
Let's
really thought this was, the truth.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because did you go through a state of what I call delusion, that
Yeah.
I'm supposed, this is my, how they used to tell us, this is my lot. Thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. And
Yeah.
did you
Denial.
did you
Oh,
abandon your dreams?
yeah. Hmm. I did.
Is that a part of that?
It's like, okay, so like I was just going to be a flight attendant.
Oh, you could wait a minute, because I told you this. You were Beyonce before there was a Beyonce.
You're awful. I love it.
I told you that when you first came to college, everybody was like, "OMG, who is this chick?" You
I
should
was,
have. You would have been a good flight attendant.
I was going to do that. I was just going to travel the world. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have no kids. None of it. Lady prophesied to me when I was like 16 in the country. You're going to be a pastor's wife. Yeah, right, lady.
Ooh.
You know? So I was dating a guy at the time, God rest his soul. And his dad was a pastor. His family was very instrumental in CME Church or somewhere like that. I
Mm.
forget. But they were very wonderful to me. But he and I broke up, of course, So I was like, oh, well, that was my chance, I guess.
Oh, got you.
Anywho, so I was going to be a flight attendant. I was going to travel the world. I wasn't going to do any of this stuff,
Got you.
So I didn't prepare myself for this. They're
Ooh,
in the manual per se.
got you. That's good.
They help you to go through this stuff,
That's good. That's good.
you know.
Yeah.
So, coming and becoming and working through things and getting through things and still keeping your head right in the right headspace,
Yeah.
you know?
To the person who is going through brokenness, kind of, can you tell them what should be their right headspace? You know what I'm saying? I mean, in a general sense, let's talk about it, because you've already said something about know you're the treasure. What else? Because you're like me, you kind of lost your headspace, kind of
Mhm.
lost who you were in that whole process, which was a part of the whole process of being broken, you know?
Right. And and getting, because we are, creatures of habit, um, finding that right headspace for yourself involves you maybe for women. I don't know about men,
Yeah,
but journaling, getting back in the Word of God, and there again, remembering who He said you are,
yeah, yeah. That's good.
and talking to yourself, talking yourself through things, releasing stuff, because those stressors, can make you feel as though you won't see tomorrow.
Hmm. Talk about that a little bit, about releasing stuff. What do you mean?
Oh,
Talk about
shoot, man. Having an ear, having a shoulder, not letting it bog you down to the point wherein you feel like you may become depressed.
yeah. Friendship, connectivity,
All of that.
in your case,
Having,
in you all's cases, girlfriends, I mean,
mhm. Having somebody, that you can confide in.
Monet put in here therapy. She's
And that too. Exactly. I was getting there. Everybody needs a therapist. Dr. Val, she's a wonderful therapist. Dr. Val Reese. Yeah, look her up. Sure.
oh Lord.
Absolutely.
Everybody's
And
talking
not
about
and
friendship.
not to take anything away from your pastors
Right, right, right. But
and pastors'
listen,
wives, you
let
know,
me tell y'all this.
get
Can
it outside of that.
listen, let me tell y'all this. Listen, and I want to say this to all of my listeners. I am not your financial nothing. I
Mhm.
am really not your counselor. I'm your preacher. If I stay where I'm supposed to stay, I can be effective. And y'all, we've got to stop allowing people just because they know a little bit about something. Don't let them become your investment banker. That's what people sit up in the banker for. I may know something about that, but my primary responsibility, and I know some preachers gonna get mad at me, my primary responsibility is to give you wisdom and knowledge and understanding
Exactly.
that you know what it is that you are supposed to be. He gave him after our own heart. I am not your doctor. You better take that medicine, amen,
Mhm.
until you can get you some faith.
Yes, you
Come
must.
on.
Good. Amen. Please take the medicine.
And some of you need to go get some medicine. Just go get some. Go get
That's
some.
right.
Okay.
That helps too.
That does help.
Yeah.
Um, shouts on here talking about no professional. Amen.
I mean, and we all, once we all come into the knowledge of we know what we know,
Yeah,
just like I said about those ladies before, they can do all that stuff. I can't do that.
right.
So I know what I know. They know what they know.
Yeah.
So let me pull on what they know if I need it, and vice versa. And that's across the board. I
She
don't know
said,
what they know.
yeah, you're saying something so powerful because I think what we do in Christendom is, so let's go back to the flower analogy. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Monet and Cray are great at doing flowers, right?
Mhm.
I think our problem is because they can do flowers, we think that they can make suits. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so we give them responsibility. Well, if you can do this,
Certainly.
then you ought to be able to do that.
Mhm.
And we have a tendency to give ourselves to this place that people are just not adequate enough
Mhm.
to handle. And until the the person who you're giving, everybody's got to know their truth in order for this to work. Now, I don't know how this works with the brokenness, but you know, because we wouldn't be, again, you wouldn't be as you are without the brokenness. Yeah, you know. But I do know we've got to stop giving our goods into people who really can't handle that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Try to
Absolutely.
see where there's of God. All right. You're not gonna believe this. Are you ready? You ready? How about our time?
Oh, my Lord. Well, we can always do a part two if you'd like.
Would you all like for her to do a part two?
This is just me. You get what you get. It
If,
is what it is.
if you all want a part two, just let me know, and I'll have somebody else. Because I'm telling you, I really feel inadequate talking about this. Um, I wanted to talk to you because I want to be a better pastor to my parishioners. I want to be a better leader to the people who follow me. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father to my daughter and my son, because I want to make sure that I understand this whole notion of, how to handle. I don't want to break my wife, my daughter, my administrators, and not build their beauty,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
what I've learned is that as much as I know, and I know somebody, Camille, gonna be on here talking about uh, that's the truth. What I know, and Lady Hope is probably gonna say, but what I don't know, I don't know, and I seek for help because I want to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
And men are problematic. People are saying they want a part two. Men are problematic with a lot of these things because we're broken ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway,
You can preach and sing now.
huh?
You can preach and sing.
Yeah, and those two things I can think
Yeah.
I can do those two things. That's,
Just work on them. Make them stronger. Become better. You can preach and sing.
I can do those two things.
But that is so true. I'm not going to take up any more time, but giving yourself over to the process.
All
You,
right, you
you know,
got the floor.
and being okay with that
Yeah, talk.
because it's gonna come.
Yeah,
Maybe you haven't endured something that somebody else has, but something that's coming your way to make you become stronger, to break you down, to become stronger, so that you can be an advocate, so that you are a voice for the Lord to somebody else. So that when they look upon you, they see him. They don't see you. When they look upon you, they see him. So your brokenness will come into play and make you become stronger in the process. All of that couples together. No, we don't see it like that, but that's how it is. We become better when we succumb to the broken parts of us and let him handle it and let him do what he needs to do. Because he can only work on what you submit to him. And when you don't submit those broken parts of you, he ain't gonna work on them. And you're gonna find yourself 10 years from now in the same place, dealing with the same mess that you should have overcome 8 years ago. Dealing with the same people, the same kind of mindset, because you didn't submit to him that part of you, that side of you that was broken. So just submit to the process. Yeah, it's easier said than done, but it can be done. And when we submit to him, we become stronger in him. When we succumb to his voice and he says to us, because the Holy Ghost will talk to you and he gonna tell you, Okay, this your trying time. How you gonna handle it? How you gonna come through it? You gonna come through it, or you gonna die in it? Okay, God, I'll come through. I'll go through. But it makes you stronger. It makes you better. So that when you testify, they know it had to be God. Not these hands, but his. I'm finished, I think.
Wow.
Because I like this version of it. I know the thoughts that I have towards you says Adonai. Thoughts of evil, thoughts of good, not of evil, to bring you to yours. That is your expected end, to be broken, but to come out all right. Adonai. him, he said it.
Yeah.
So are we going to entrust our brokenness to him or not? And the quicker we do it, the better we become. And then when we tell others how we came through, how he did it, because I can't tell you today how, I don't know. God knows I don't. All I know is I didn't lose my mind in the process. I did not lose my mind when I became broken. I did not go crazy once I became broken. The enemy thought it. He wanted me to. Nah. God says, I got you. I ain't gonna let that happen to you. I love you too much. You're beautiful in me. I love you too much. I ain't gonna let that happen to you. I ain't gonna let the enemy win this one. He gonna try you. He gonna take stuff from you. He gonna make you feel a certain way. But understand, I got you. You're still in his hands. He still got you. So become better. Go through it. You'll be all right. Hallelujah. You'll be just fine. I promise. Look at me. Hallelujah. Wow. Yeah.
Well, that is good stuff. Y'all know there's so much more, so many more different kinds of questions that we could talk about, and so many different areas that we could go through and talk about. This is going to be an unusual. You've already kind of spoken to the people. Somebody said part 2, 3, and 4 is needed. So we definitely going to come back with a part 2 on this one for her. She has so much more to give, because we still got to get to this whole notion. I love that though. Submitting to the broken part, because it's the broken part that allows you to become beautiful, or that's a part of the beauty, knowing your value and knowing your worth. And I really want us to come back. I really want us to do this again, and I'm going to get back on your schedule, y'all. So you'll see a flyer, another one out there, that we're going to do a part 2, so that we can continue this conversation. Again, I feel inadequate about it, but it is what it is, and I appreciate you
Oh,
for coming on and sharing this part of yourself. and the podcast. How can people reach you? Because after tonight, people gonna want to reach you. Social media. How can they get in contact with you? You know,
Really?
yeah. And if you have a cash app, if you got a cash,
Of course. I don't know how to do that. I'm
somebody,
not that tech
somebody,
savvy.
somebody put this cash app in the thread. What's the cash app? Dollar sign
Oh, wait. I think it's LEXPRI3.
LEXPRI3.
Whoa, I don't,
Hold on, let's make sure
let
because she don't
me
even know what
just,
her own cash app is. Jesus help her, God.
hush your mouth. Oh, yeah, there. Can you see that? I
No.
don't know how to do that.
Oh yeah, hold it right there. Don't move it. Cash app. LEXPRE 35.
That's I.
35.
LEXPRI 35.
I'm sorry. LEXPRI 35. LEXPRI 35. I-
Awesome.
And, and I just wanted to make sure LEXPRI 35. I just
Mhm.
want to make sure if people wanted to support you, if people
Oh, that's
wanted to,
wonderful.
yeah,
Thank
if
you.
people wanted to sow into your ministry and sow into your life, we use this platform as well to make sure that you are encouraged. I appreciate you. Uh,
I'm totally encouraged. I just, they can do me messenger or whatever, I don't mind. I don't care. No, seriously, I don't mean to sound flippant about that, but it is what it is. I can be as transparent as I'd like to be,
yeah,
you know, and I think that transparency is key in certain areas of your life
yeah,
because you said it, we need to stop lying. Just be truthful, just be honest,
yeah,
because it's gonna come out in the wash.
yeah. That is true. That is
So,
true. Y'all look for it again. Um, typically I usually go out with something. You done tore us up today. You done messed us up real bad.
it's funny.
To that sister out there, to that brother out there, please go back, share this. She has said so much good stuff. And you know what? I'm just gonna go out the way we came in because you something, boy. You
That song it summed it up. That first verse, yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Whatever it is that whatever brokenness, you, you're grace for it.
Yeah.
And I have before me what we call the essence of grace. And I appreciate you. I'm going to always, I don't care, I'm going to always honor you. I'm going to always honor you. Even when I'm old, I'm going to honor you.
Praise the Lord.
You hear me? And
Praise
so
the Lord.
this was wonderful. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'm Stephen Williams. They call me the Good Bishop. And we own Behind the Veil podcast. We love you. We thank you.
I
Sheri Bratcher, the one and the only.
love you guys. Thank you so much. I love you. Blessings. Blessings,
Blessing.
everybody.
Yeah.
Mwah.
We'll see y'all next week.
I
You
love
are grace for it. Don't you give up in this thing. Watch God do something powerful.
you.
Love
Don't
you
do
guys. All right.